Okay, so you've got to wonder, right? How did a language learning app, the one with that little green owl, somehow become one of the biggest stars on TikTok? Well, today we are digging into that exact story, and trust me, this was no accident. It was an absolute masterclass in viral marketing. Let's get into it.
First things first, we need to talk about the sheer scale of what happened here. This wasn't just a couple of lucky videos going viral. No, this was Duolingo pulling off a total platform takeover.
10 million. Let that sink in. That is how many TikTok followers Duolingo has now. And to give you some perspective, they started with only 50,000. So, that isn't just growth, that is a straight-up explosion. It's the kind of thing you just don't see from a brand, especially in the education world.
So yeah, that leads us to the billion-dollar question, how did they do it? And what's really wild is that their secret wasn't just throwing a ton of money at advertising. Nope, they used a strategy that was so smart, so effective, it's basically become the textbook example of how to go viral. Their whole strategy, the entire thing, really boils down to one simple but completely game-changing idea. On social media, you have to be a character, not a corporation. That one insight, it changed everything for them.
And here's what that actually looks like. You see, most brands on TikTok, they're just using it like a digital billboard. They're shouting their ads at you. But Duolingo, they decided to join the party. They didn't want to be an advertiser, they wanted to be a creator, a real part of the culture.
And this quote right here, it just nails their whole philosophy. They figured out that on a platform like TikTok, personality is everything, polish is boring. People will scroll right past some slick corporate ad, but they will absolutely stop and watch a chaotic, funny character. This idea was the launchpad for everything that came next.
Okay, so they had the big idea down. Character over corporation, got it. But how did they actually turn that into millions and millions of views? Well, let's break down the three-part playbook that made it all work. It really all comes down to these three things. First, they turned their mascot into a legit influencer. Second, they became masters at hijacking trends. And third, and this is the really genius part, they created this amazing feedback loop with their own fans. So let's start with pillar number 1. This is where they took Duo, their little green owl, and completely transformed him. He wasn't just a logo anymore. He became a living, breathing, and yeah, kind of chaotic TikTok star.
And they were so specific about Duo's personality. He's not just some cute mascot. No, he's unhinged. He's out there doing the latest dances, he's mischievous, he's outrageous. He feels like a real person you'd actually want to follow. So people weren't connecting with a language app, they were connecting with him.
All right, pillar number 2, trend hijacking. See, Duolingo almost never tries to invent a new trend. Why would they? It's way easier and way smarter to just jump on the ones that are already blowing up.
And their formula for this is just beautiful in its simplicity. They just take a trending sound or a popular meme, they throw their chaotic mascot Duo into it, and then they add a layer of humor that feels totally native to TikTok. What do you get? A video that fits right in on the For You page and almost always goes viral.
But this third pillar, this is where things get truly, truly brilliant. They didn't just make content for their audience, they actually turned their own comment section into a never-ending idea factory.
So the community started this running joke, right? That Duo is this kind of passive-aggressive character who will hunt you down if you miss your lessons. And comments like this started popping up everywhere. It became a whole thing.
And here is the magic. Duolingo just leans right into it. They literally take those fan jokes and turn them into skits and videos. This creates this perfect self-sustaining loop. The fans make jokes, Duolingo turns those jokes into content, which then encourages the fans to make even more jokes. It's a genius content machine that never runs out of fuel.
Now look, having a great strategy is awesome. But on TikTok, if you're not fast, you're last. So how on earth does Duolingo move at the speed of light?
Well, here's the secret. Most brands are trapped in this slow-motion nightmare of agencies, creative briefs, and endless approval meetings. Duolingo's secret weapon? They gave one social media manager the keys to the kingdom. Total creative freedom. No waiting for approvals, no polished scripts, just fast, raw, real-time content. And that speed is their ultimate superpower. I mean, on TikTok, a trend can be born, go viral, and die in less than 48 hours. By cutting out all that red tape, Duolingo's content is always on time, it feels raw and human, and it's always ready to ride the next trend wave.
Okay, so let's put it all together. Let's boil this whole thing down to the core lessons. What can we all actually learn from this very, very clever owl?
It really comes down to this simple little framework, the CHP model. C is for culture. Be a part of the conversation, don't just interrupt it. H is for humor. Speak the actual language of the platform. And P is for personality. Let a character be your voice, not a corporate memo.
So the takeaways for pretty much any brand are crystal clear. You gotta stop acting so corporate and start acting more human. Empower a small team to move fast.
create a character that people can actually form a connection with, and maybe most important of all, entertain first. If you can build a real community, the business will follow, I promise.
Because in today's world, the old marketing rules are just dead. Brands that act like brands, they're basically invisible. But the ones that act like the creators that their audience already loves, yeah, those are the ones that are winning.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Maybe that safe, traditional corporate marketing playbook isn't actually safe at all anymore. In a world that's completely dominated by creators, maybe the single biggest risk a brand can take is to act like a brand.